I think it's closed. Hi, hey, how are you? Welcome. Okay. No. Okay, I should make a disclosure. My son left me his 2-year-old for a whole week.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of testing. Waking up at all hours of the night.
Wow.
But one day she came home from school on Monday, and I went to speak to her on her level, and she coughed in my face, and I felt like something went in, and I was like out for a few days. But okay, now I'm back. I literally felt it when I came in, like because they pick up everything from school.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
That might have been a mental thing too, huh? So it must.
Okay. So this class I'm going to teach as much as I could study.
But if it's hard for you.
No. Today I'm alive. You know how I felt the last few days? I feel like when you take your cell phone and you put it on low power mode. I'm in like low power mode.
Or people
Having to recharge, right?
It's crazy that we still have to think about it, but I just heard people have COVID.
Oh, no. I checked myself out yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
and-
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
it was okay.
I
went to my brother, he checked me out, everything's good. No, now I feel alive.
Again, I mean, it's like,
I feel alive, I feel like I'm in myself.
yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna teach the Hebrew letters. I went to Mexico for a simcha, and I picked up this book that is amazing. It has really, really deep book. It's in Spanish. I haven't found it in English. It has really amazing information. So we're just gonna do a little overview, because I know that every time I teach, there's somebody that's new, somebody that's old, somebody that has more knowledge, less knowledge. So we're just gonna do a little review first, okay? And okay, so the Hebrew letters, we know that they are the foundation of the world. Hashem used the 22 letters as we use bricks to make a house, okay? And through the letters, he's telling us the building blocks. He's telling us the story of life. Now, Hashem is succinct. Hashem is simple, but in his simplicity is everything. So through each letter, the more that we understand, the more that we are going to understand about our very life. Okay, so the first letter is Aleph, and there's many ways that our sages tell us that we can understand the letters. One is just from the shape. So when we see the shape, we see there's a yud on top, a yud on bottom, and then there's a vav. That's the Aleph. Now, these letters are not exactly as they're written in a Sefer Torah. Okay, in a Sefer Torah, there will be a perfect yud, and a perfect vav. Okay, so it's telling us, first of all, just from the form, that this is the yud above is the Hashem, is Hashem in his essence. The yud below is what he puts into his creation of himself, and the vav is the connection. Now, how can we connect with Hashem? It's either through Torah or also through a Yirat Shamayim. The more Torah that we learn, the more that we can connect with our essence, the more Yirat Shamayim, the more fear of Hashem, also the stronger that we're going to connect to this Aleph. Another way of looking at the letters are by the numerical value. So the numerical value of Aleph is 1. 1 means perfection. So right away we see Aleph, perfection is only Hashem. There's no perfection in this world. Like I'm here teaching, and I'm gonna do the best that I can today, even if it's not gonna be perfect to where I would like to be, because maybe this is all that Hashem wants me to do, right? And it's between what we want and what reality. This is life. Okay. Another way of understanding the letters are the sounds. So what is the sound of Aleph? There is no sound of Aleph. Okay. It's not like mem, it's not like tit. there's no sound other than what the vowels will give it. So to Hashem. Hashem is everywhere. We cannot see it other than what we want to let him in. Hashem is everywhere. But I give him expression. If I want to feel Hashem everywhere, then he will be everywhere. And I just, Hashem has me, I don't know why, jumping from country to country. I went to a wedding in Chile just a week ago, just for a few days. And I was going by myself. My husband couldn't go. And I'm not used to traveling to a strange country all by myself. And I was praying to Hashem. I said, Hashem, please, like open up the doors, like be with me. Because you know what? I felt him. I felt him in everything, in every moment. I felt like he was protecting. I felt like it was really an incredible experience. So where is Hashem? Where will we let him in, right? Okay, so Aleph. This is where it all stands. Aleph is also like in the English word, aloof, right? Aloof is what? It's retracted, like a king. The king is retracted from the kingdom, right? So this is Aleph, and then it's Bet. Bet is like bite. Okay, that's another way that we can discern a word is what does it sound like and what is the meaning. So Bet is bite. So Hashem, now we know when he gives us the Torah, the first letter of the Torah is Bet. So he's telling us in creation, this is Aleph is one. But in creation, everything there's a choice right away. Bechira. The biggest gift that Hashem gives us is Bechira, which starts with a Bet, which it means there's always going to be a choice. There's man, there's woman. I will say there's chocolate or vanilla. There's always a choice in life. But do I get up from the bed or do I stay another 5 minutes, right? But Bet is also bite. So the reason for creation is because Hashem wants us, his creation, to make a home for him in this world. Now, what is a home? And if we could, describe each of our homes, each of our homes are going to be different because our necessities, our tastes are different. One wants the TV here, another one wants no TV in the house, another one wants the bed in this way, another one wants this color, another wants wallpaper. Each person will make their home comfortable to them. What is a home comfortable to Hashem? So he gives us a list, 613 mitzvot. He says, this is my home. When you realize the 613 mitzvot, I will feel comfortable in my home. I'm a person, I will share with my class. When I go to the hotel, I redo the room. I have to check. The sofa is not in the right place. Let me put some flowers here. Let me, the light, I need more light in this. I have to feel comfortable. It's me. I need to feel 100%. So does Hashem. And that's why he gives us a whole list, right? This is how I want you to make my world. So this is the bed of light. Gimel is gibor. It's strong. Now, when we nurture in a home, then what do? As women, we nurture children, right? We nurture ourselves. And then we can come out of our home. When we're strong, like gibor, we're strong. Now we can go out in the world and do mitzvot. So Gimel is the gibor. He's going out in the world and he's going to do the mitzvah. So what is the mitzvah? That the world that Hashem has made, as we said, everything is with a bet, everything is a duality. There's the giver and then there's a receiver. Dalit is a receiver. Dalit is the limb, is the poor person. It could be not only poor in monetarily, it could be in intellect, in opportunity, in maybe somebody needs advice, right? They don't know how, where. So Gimel is the giver to the Dalit, right? And the Dalit is like Dalit, like door, because the poor person has to knock on doors. Who's gonna help me, right? And that's why we see that his face is turned away, right? Because he doesn't want to face the receiver, okay? So the Gimel is given to the Dalit. The Dalit is the receiver. So right away, we already are seeing the world that we're in is a world where Hashem will give us, the Aleph is going to give, and then we have to understand that we are receiving from God. And the reason that we're receiving is that we have to give, right? Whatever, something, we have to give to another person. And that's where the hay comes in. So the hay, if you see just the shape of it, it's a dalet. It's a dalet, but it has received from the gimel, it has received a little leg. So the hay is this perfect relationship of the giving and the receiving to understand this. And it says that the hay, what is the sound of it? It's almost effortless. So it says that Hashem makes the physical world with the letter hay, which to him, we see an intricate world, right? But to him, it's really effortless. It's a hay, right? So then we go to the Vav. And the Vav, as the Zohar tells us, the letters, when they start from above, okay, it's talking about supernal. It's talking about celestial, about spirituality. The Vav is a connector between heaven and earth. It's the light that is giving from heaven to earth. That's why it's a masculine letter. Okay, this is considered a masculine. Now, in English, if we turn it sideways, what is it? It's a hyphen. It's a connector. So too is the Vav, right? Almost all of the parashiot in the Torah starts with the letter Vav, okay? Because it's a connector, it's connecting, okay? So this is a masculine letter. And what is the Zayin? The Zayin is receiving from this masculine letter, but then it understands that when I receive, I must give. So the Vav is a masculine, the Zayin is a feminine letter, this is also considered like the Kaf. The Kaf meaning the light of Hashem when Hashem first contracts and he wants to create the world, it's explained that there's a Kaf, there's a line coming of light. This is the Vav. And then we are retracting that light, refraction, okay? How? When we, the Jewish people, men and women, we take from everything that Hashem is giving us, health and everything, and then we transform it. So even when we're gonna light the Hanukkah candles, right? When we light the Hanukkah candles, then we are taking material, and by doing the mitzvot, we're gonna light up. So the Zayin, it's the Vav with a Yud on top, which also is like a crown, because we are crowning this creation. You know, it's very interesting. My youngest son is changing apartments in New York, and he just showed me a picture, and he had shown me the lights that he was gonna put. You know, he's just making a few changes, and in the entrance there's a beautiful light. And it's like almost like I don't know, the little stars coming up. And I thought, wow, that's so nice. But we are lighting up the world with every mitzvah that we do. Like a children's song. Every mitzvah that we do. Right? But we are crowning creation. We are making a light. Okay, this is the feminine. So when we join the Vav and the Zayin, then we're gonna go to the Chet, because in a Sefer Torah, the Chet is not gonna look like this. It's going to look. This one. The Chet in a Sefer Torah, it's a line, and a line, it's going to be a Vav, a Zayin, and a Chateret on top. It's like a roof on top. That's the Chet that you will see in a Sefer Torah. So they write it out plain like this, but it's not really like this. It's more like this, like a little roof, like this, like a roof. So the Chet is from Chuppah. We're joining masculine energy with feminine energy, and we're creating a chuppah. When we let in, who's this? This is Hashem, right? Like a sukkah that on top in the schach we have the presence of God. So this is a pact. That's why it's number 8. right? Like the circumcision if we see 1, 2, 3, right? Up to 7 is creation, and then the number 8 is beyond creation. That's why the Brit Milah is on the 8th day, because we're going into a pact. When we join the feminine and the masculine, and now we are letting in Hashem, then we're creating a pact with God, and now we're transcending our own limitation of being creation, right? Because as a Jewish people, when we do mitzvot with Hashem, we can even change the heavens. That's why the first mitzvah of the Jewish people is what? Before we leave Egypt, Torah trivia. What is the first mitzvah of the Jewish people? Hashem gives us what? What? Orit. Oh, okay. What is the first mitzvah? Huh? Yes. Rosh Chodesh. Why is it Rosh Chodesh? What a strange mitzvah. Because Hashem tells us when we in our Sanhedrin, we in our court, we say today is Rosh Chodesh, everything that happens, letter bit, everything that happens in creation down here, there's a mirror in the spiritual world. So there's a calendar also in the spiritual world. When we say this is Rosh Chodesh, even if it's wrong, what does Hashem say? Don't worry. I'm going to adjust my celestial calendar to be according to whatever the Sanhedrin said. So what does that mean to us? It means that through the head, through this joining forces with Hashem, Hashem is giving us power beyond our limitation. Hashem is giving us the power to change the world, to change the heavens, to change everything. Then we have Tet. So man and woman joined in a chuppah, and then the ninth letter is the 9 months of pregnancy, right? Which tells us that everything in this world, there's a time, a space. Everything's gonna take time, okay? And it looks almost also like a uterus, right? Like the uterus inside, which means that the 9 months of pregnancy, there's potential, right? Because there's a potential. Once I heard, I don't know which rabbi said that the potential of a person is the moment, first of all, when they're conceived, because it could be anything, right? It could be a genius, it could have blue eyes, green eyes, it could be tall, short. There's potential of everything. The more that we live, the less potential that we have. Either you studied, you didn't study, either you went to this school, either you were in this family, either you know, the less potential that you're gonna have as time goes by. So the Tet is a letter really of potential, okay? And then we have youth. So these are the 9 months of pregnancy. What is youth? The baby. The baby. Now each child is what? Unique. It's composed, number 10, because one of the ways that we can see the letters is in the gematria, and the basic of gematria is that we can add the letters horizontally. So 10 is also 1. So youth is very much related to the Aleph. Okay, 10 is Aleph, but and then in a different way, because although it's the smallest of letters, and we said it represents the baby, right, the little child that is being born. So what is it telling us about us? We're just a little speck. We're a dot, right? In all of Hashem's creation, we're a little speck, right? We're something. But nevertheless, we are Yachid. We are also unique. We're unique. We're important. We are necessary. If Hashem made us to be born, that means that we have a mission, right? Now, our mission is composed of all these, everything that's coming before us, right? A child is not just born by itself, unless you're Adam. Everybody else, we have a whole trajectory, right? We're bringing in from our parents, our grandparents, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We have a whole trajectory that we're coming in, but nevertheless, we're a unique person, and we have a mission to accomplish, right? That's the youth. Now, what is the Chaf? The Chaf is, and also, sorry, youth is also Yad, and Yad is the arm, right? Why is the arm? Because with the arm, right, I accomplish, right? I have my arms, I have to do, right? But what is the Chaf? The Chaf, as Aurit said last time, Chaf in Hebrew, Chaf Yad, you told me? Chaf Yad is the palm. Right? This is the palm. So the Chaf is not only that it's part of the arm, but it's the part of the arm that actually does, that actually you can transform matter. You can shape as if you are a sculptor, right? You can take clay and you can make beautiful. Yesterday I made with my little grandchild, we made challah, right? With our hands, with our palms, right? But what is it saying also to us? That a half is bent over. So we take the youth, we take the person, right? And now you're gonna join the two hands because half is 20. It's the first letter that jumps from being one unit to decimal, so it's 20. And we're gonna join the two hands, right? And we're gonna say Mode Ani. We are bending over. That's why we're bending over. It's bent, it's a letter that is bent. And we're gonna be submissive to Hashem. That's what we do the first thing in the morning when we say Mode Ani, we are giving over ourselves to Hashem, and it changes our whole day. Okay? But the Chaf, now we're gonna go into the Lamed, because the Lamed is a Chaf. You see, that's why it's not really well written here. Sorry. The Chaf is, the Lamed is a Chaf with a Vav on top. Okay, that's how a Lamed is written in the Sefer Torah. Okay, so they tell us like this. Oh. So the half here represents also the heart. The half represents the heart. And the Vav on top of the heart, it represents, we know that it's Lamed. And in Hebrew, what is the word Lamed? It's teacher. Is it to teach? But it's also limud, right? It's also to learn. And that's why I started this class saying that in the Hebrew letters, Hashem is telling us many, many stories of our life, okay? Because the same letter that is to teach is used to learn. And what is it telling us? That the best way to learn is to teach. You know, once I was talking to my Rabbi Yeshua Rosenfeld from Bogota. When my children were teenagers, I was asking about one of my children, you know, how should I teach them about certain mitzvah? And what did he tell me? Like a good shliach, what did he say? Not only that, he told me, get your son to teach somebody else. Because if he teaches somebody else, that will be more effective than 10 lessons. Like you can sit with a book and you can teach, you know, this is how we put tefillin, right? And this is the importance of tefillin, and this is the beauty of tefillin. But if you yourself go and teach another person, look, this is how you put tefillin, this will be more effective for the teacher than even for the student, right? And I'm an example myself. I mean, if I'm here teaching Torah, right? I mean, I didn't grow up with this at all. I'm about the Shuvah, right? But and believe me, because I have to teach every week because I love it, but it makes me go and learn. I need to learn in order to teach, and I have to not only learn, because one thing in high school and in college, I would read books, right? Then you finish the book and say, I don't remember a thing. Didn't happen to you? I don't remember a thing, right? So what happens when you have to teach the book? You better remember, right? So as you need to teach the learning, you need to take it to a level that is deeper in you. That's why this is the Lamed, is the only letter that goes above the line. It goes above the line because we need to reach much, much higher than our limitation. First of all, we don't know our limitation because if we have Aleph inside of us, Aleph is unlimited. Aleph is the infinite. So if we have a part of Hashem inside of us, that means we're unlimited, but we never really discover right? The extent of our infinity, unless we need to reach higher and higher and higher, right? And this is what the Lamed represents. It represents from the mood. Now, also, we know from the four species, right? The Ezrog and the Lulav that starts with a Lamed, which is the bracha that we make is not on the etrog, right? Even though people pay more money for the etrog, right? And how they choose their etrog, and the etrog represents the heart, which is also the chaf. But we make the blessing on the lulav. Why? Because it's the learning that will take us to an understanding. If we don't learn, we don't know what we're supposed to do, right? And if we don't learn constantly, it says whoever doesn't study about Shabbat constantly, for sure we're not keeping Shabbat well. For sure there's something in Shabbat that we're amiss, for 100%, right? Plus there's also a part of us that forgets. So year to year, the same parashiot, yet when we learn it again and again, we discover something else. We're reminded of our different values that are in there. And so Lamed is to teach, but it's also to learn. And now we're gonna go into my notes. But there's something.
The heart, it's like when the two lines are facing together. Have you seen like there's a necklace that they have with it?
Can you explain to me?
So yeah, so Sarah Esther Chris talks about it from Rav Ginsburg, that basically if you take the two lamed like face them together, then you're basically comprising a heart. But what is like from her teaching, like what is the real love in Judaism? They have the Vav and the Chaf, that is like every part of our relationship.
Right. Beautiful, beautiful. So that is from who?
Her name is Sarah Esther Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you her article. She has like an article.
Okay.
And then there's like a jewelry that they sell of like that.
Yes. Okay, I'm looking for another lamed here. Yeah. Can you help me? Sure. It should be another lamed. Yeah. So yeah, because here it says that this is the half, this is the vav, and then it's reaching out for the youth, right? Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, but
It's not.
I can't.
Why?
Because this is not the 10 Commandments. It won't. If I go like this, you're not
It's
gonna
not,
see it.
right.
Okay, but we get it.
Yeah.
It's
But we could take a,
it's like this. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's look at our notes. What does it say about that? Okay. All right, so we know that the Torah starts with the letter Bet. How does it end? The last letter, the last word in our Torah is, did I not put a recording? I did not put a recording.
Oh no.
Okay. So the last word that you said is, did you say?
The last one.
Yeah, because the last word is Israel. So the beginning is Bet, the last letter is Lamed, and together Lamed and Bet make the word Lev, heart. Which, as we know, how does the heart work? The heart is the heartbeat. It's contracting and expanding, right? So when we start the Torah, it is expanding, and then we finish the Torah, it's contracting. But as we start again, this is the heartbeat of the Jewish people, right? All right, so, okay. Something beautiful that it said in this book. It says that there's the word, the Lamed comes after the Het, the Hat, sorry. It says like this. You know what? I have my sticky notes here. Very sophisticated. Lamed comes after Chaf, right? It's Chaf, Lamed, Mem, yes? Okay. So how do you read it the other way around? If we interchange these, we have the word Melech. Then we have king. But if we change it around, then we have the word Kanim, which is destruction. Okay, so men is for moach, for my intellect. Okay, and the Chaf is for my heart. This represents our heart and emotions. So it says, when I'm gonna put my moach, I'm gonna put my intellect before my heart, then I'm gonna have a melech. But if I'm gonna put my heart before my intellect, I'm gonna have a destruction. Okay. Yes, that's and really the story in the Torah where Yaakov gives the blessing to his son. No, Yitzhak gives the blessing to his son Yaakov, who is dressed up as Esau. Remember the story? Dressed up and and he's doubting, how did you come so fast? How could you catch an animal so fast? And he gives him a kiss, and he says, my son smells of a fresh cut field, right? A fresh field. And then he touches the hands. What does he say? The voice is voice of Yaakov, the head. And tonight is gonna be Yutet Kislev. It's a birthday of Hasidut. And this is what the whole mission statement of the Torah is, this phrase where it says the voice has to be the voice of Yaakov, but the hands have to be the hands of Esau. The voice is the voice of Yaakov, right? Which means our direction has to come from the Yaakov in us, because the divine soul is in the mind. But the hands, right? And Asaph was a big bunch of energy. He's not evil. He can become evil, but it's just the energy that we have that is coming from our heart, right? That it has to be directed first by Yaakov. Okay. All right. So, okay. Now we have also tefillah. Tefillah is also with a lamed, because it is what is tefillah? Tefillah is to pray, and what is praying is called? It's called the avoda of the heart. It's how to take our heart, right, and how to direct it to Hashem, and it's an exercise of how to deepen our emotion for Hashem. Okay. Also, we have the word Hallel with two lamets, right? Because Hallel is one of the most joyous of all the prayers, and we're trying to go even higher and higher and higher to connect to Hashem. Okay, we have prayers in my house on Shabbat and Yom Tov, and there's something that I always ask the person that is leading the services. I always tell them, don't go fast. Don't go fast. I'm not interested in the clock. I want you to go to sing beautifully. Just take your time. Each prayer, just sing with your heart, because that's what tefillah is. It's not about no, and sometimes it's no, but the people want to leave. The people want to say, I don't care. If people are here, it's an exercise with the heart. When else do we have a chance during the week to do this, right? Okay. All right. So also what they tell us, if we said that the lamed is a connection between the Chav and the Vav, okay, it's trying to go higher, right? To connect to something that is beyond me, and to connect my mind by Torah study right? And have it affect my heart. Our sages tell us something very interesting. It says, what is the greatest distance in the world? It's the distance between my mind and my intellect. I'm sorry, my intellect and my emotions. The greatest distance, right, is between what I understand here and how do I get it to affect my heart? How do I get it to really, like when we say, don't just pray, but pray with kavana. What does kavana mean? Kavana means my whole emotions. How can I, one thing I can pray like a robot. I can do things like a robot. I can cook for my family like a robot, right? I can go through life like a robot. I can, do all that. Some people even go to college. They study a career. Okay, I went, I did, I even get married. Or are you gonna put your whole self into it? All right. So, okay. So here it says something very beautiful from Pirkei Avot, because it says that the only way to grow is really through study. Okay, it's the only way to. It says that from Pirkei Avot, I don't know the exact wording, but it says that the fool will not fear sin, that the ignorant cannot be pious, that the person that is shy cannot learn, right? If we're shy to ask a question, we really cannot learn. The impatient cannot teach, right? And not just because somebody does well in business doesn't mean that they're wise. It could be that they just know how to do business, but they can be very foolish, right? So it's telling us just
It's actually risk takers. They don't do the research, they just jump in, so they're almost,
right.
they're a little, I don't want to say foolish, but not as
100%.
analytical. They don't analyze a deal. They just
100%.
jump in and
100%.
and then get lucky.
100%. Because sometimes when we know, it's like a doctor, right? The worst patient is a doctor because they know so much that they fear so much, right? That they can psychologically get themselves sick from knowing too much, right? And sometimes when you don't know so much, it's, right? There's many words, there's many names to God. And one of the names is also like we sometimes relate to him like an animal. And an animal because an animal doesn't really understand. But because we behave like an animal, then we can do things that really get close to him. But because we don't really understand, if we really would understand God, right? If we really would understand that God is all powerful and everywhere, I think nobody could do anything. Right? In some way, ignorance in some ways it's also good. Okay. Huh?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, another of our words that start with lamed is lashon, right? Lashon. And also they tell us that the lamed actually looks like a tongue, right? It looks like a tongue when it's speaking. And because it's like reaching up, it says that it's the only letter that when we pronounce it, we have to reach with the tip of our tongue. We have to really take it up like the lamed. So it's lashon. And what is it telling us about the lashon, about the word? First of all, it's telling us how words reach. As we said, it will reach even beyond our understanding, right? A good word and a bad word. As we know, many of the stories of lashon hara, the person that goes to the rabbi and says, I want to stop saying bad things, lashon hara, and he says, okay, take a pillow and break it up in the middle of I-95 on a busy day. And he does that, and then he goes to the rabbi. He said, Rabbi, I did it, but I'm not cured, right? From speaking bad about people. So he says, no problem. Now tomorrow, go at the same time and pick up all those feathers, right? And it's impossible because that's where our word will reach is beyond what we can even fathom, right? For the good and the not good. And very interesting. It says that when Mashiach times, the war that Mashiach is going to fight is not a war of weapons. It's a war of words. And what are we facing today? we are facing the war on words. And I just got a video yesterday from a newscaster. She's a journalist in Australia. You know her name?
They fired
Yeah, Erin Moran. And she was fired. She had I guess she has her whole show.
And at least they fired her after the full, at least she did so much good.
Okay, because of her stance on pro-Israel, and she's not Jewish.
No,
So she's just like Pilar Rahola from Spain. But she says they're not gonna silence me because I care too much. Here, what is she saying in her video? She says, they're not gonna silence me because I have a heart. And my heart cares, and I care too much. I care too much about reality. I care too much about human. I care too much about the world. I care too much about real children, and I care too much. And they're not gonna silence me. They're not gonna stop me. She's about the lamed, and she says I'm gonna continue, right? So she was fired because of her lashon, but they can't stop her lashon, which is very interesting. And this is the war that we are in right now. It's a war about reality. It's a war about people trying to with words to confuse reality. And that's what we've been coming with, the whole woke movement of who's a girl and who's a boy, and who do we respect and what's history, and let's redo everything. It's a war on words. Okay. All right. So King Solomon says life and death are in the tongue. Right? And we know a melech rules, a king rules with his tongue, who has life and who has death. Because a real king is the one that has authority over life and death. Okay? Because we know also the story of Rabbi Meir, that he sent his helper to the market and told him to buy something good. What did he buy? A tongue. And then he went, okay, now go to the market and buy something bad. And what did he buy? A tongue, right? Because the tongue can be used for good or bad. Okay. All right. Okay, so the Zohar tells us that all the letters that reach up, it has to do with trying to reach heavenly spheres. Okay. The Kabbalah tells us that the letter Lamed is also a letter for Bina, for understanding, for real understanding. And there's something so beautiful here. I couldn't find it, but I think it's from King Solomon that talks about an understanding heart. That the heart has all the abilities of the rest of the body. It has the ability of hearing, of feeling, of anger, of love, of seeing, but in a deeper way. It's talking about Bina, about an understanding heart. When you hear with your heart, when you hear, when you see with your heart, when you feel with your heart, when you love with your heart, it's a different, it's a depth that is not in just the superficial way of looking at life, right? I remember my grandchild, my 10-year-old came home from school this week, and he was very, I could see that, he didn't want to speak, and I was seeing that he was not, anxious. And I told his father, like his father saw him and he didn't think anything. He said, go give him a hug. And all of a sudden, all of these emotions came out, like everything that had happened in school that day. Because it's not just what the person says, but we have to see with our heart. We have to hear with our heart, right? Okay, so also the word law, right? The word law is what? No. Right. So it's the word no, right? But what is the word if we change this around? If we put the aleph first, then it's El, it's a number, it's a name of Hashem, right? So if we put first our study, it says, if we put our study, our words, our feelings, our heart before Hashem, before the love of Hashem, then we're gonna get no, then it's not gonna be good. But when we put Hashem before our study, before our understanding, before our words, before our hearts, then it will be good. Then it will be with Hashem's blessing. Okay? And the first time, because I think it was the Messenger Magid also that said, or the Messenger Magid that said, or the Vilna Gaon, sorry, that said the first time that a letter appears in the Torah is also a hint to what that letter means. And the first word where the Lamed appears is the word Elohim. So we know Elohim is not only the expression of Hashem in nature, right? Hashem as we see it in nature, but it's also his greatness. Like the Rambam says, when you want to discover Hashem, look at his world. Look at the sunset, look at the sunrise, look at the beach, look at the child, look at life, and you will see the greatness of Hashem. So through Elohim, through the Lamed, through the study, we will reach and find the greatness of Hashem. Okay, so just one word about Yutet Kislev, that is tonight. I mean, I personally have to give thanks to Yutet Kislev because it is through, it's called the New Year of Hasidut, of before all of that.
It's interesting, the correspondence was today's December 19th. I mean, it's unusual. That's right.
Right, but our, it's at night, yes, 100%. Our, before, all of this learning that we're doing used to only be done by a certain select group of students in a yeshiva, a select group. But it was through the Baal Shem Tov that he disseminated this knowledge to the whole world, to everybody. Like even little children now are singing Mashiach, 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 And in a big way, his disciple, the Alter Rebbe, he disseminated this into a way that it reached me and it's reaching us, right? That it's accessible to us, that we can understand that there's two souls inside of ourselves, that there's a war going on inside of ourselves, and all of this. And I changed my whole life. So I am just grateful, and may it be a renewal of what we said, the Lamed, that we can even reach higher knowledge to bring it down and to make this really a world for the Aleph. So thank you. Thank you.
Toda.